So Labour have won the nod and they've got in front of Conservative with a landslide. It's not really surprising, but what does this mean for landlord property investors? What do we have to expect? In this video, I'm going to go through what their plans are, and then at the end, I'm going to share what my opinions are, how this will affect us as property investors, and what I'm going to be doing to navigate these changing times. So let's just dive straight in. So look, straight away, Labour's plans as to immediately abolish Section 21. They want to give tenants powers to change unreasonable rent rises. They want to ban rent bidding wars between tenants. There's no indication how they're going to do that, but stop people bidding up on properties. They want to introduce a cap on the amount of rent that can be paid up front by tenants. They want to extend the, I don't even know how you say this, AWAABS law, which means social landlords to address dangerous hazards such as mold and mold in private rented sector. They also want to introduce energy efficiency standards by 2030. It wasn't clear which EPC rating was going to be the new minimum, but they want to reintroduce this where it got stopped last year. And they want to remove the requirement to replace gas boilers by 2030. So that's their major plans. Let's go over these individual. Well, let's have a look saying that. Their plans for tax, they're saying they're not going to increase the basic high rate tax brackets for people like with their income tax. Corporation tax is going to be capped at 25% where it's at, while VAT and national insurance will also remain the same. But Labour need to raise funds from somewhere, so landlords have already been warned to watch out for potential increases in capital gains tax rates. The thing that they're saying they're going to do straight away as well is they're saying, look, they're going to abolish Section 21 instantly. Like, this is the no-fault eviction. So if you're not familiar with that, this is basically, you don't have to give a tenant a reason to take your property back. You just say, I want my property back, and they can't even challenge it. They're going to abolish that straight away. Where the Conservatives did push that back with the Renters Reform Bill, they pushed that back. Some say the Conservatives actually wanted to hand this over to Labour, like hand them over kind of a ticking bomb basically, because this is going to be a little bit of a challenge what's going to happen here. But Labour saying they're going to get rid of that instantly and scrap it straight away. How landlords feel about this? Look, as part of the 2023 landlord report, 1,500 landlords was asked about the big concerns for the plans in the future, and 2/3, 66%, are consistently like changing and confusing government legislation is one of the greatest challenges. So consistently changing it, sorry, I'm a bit tongue-tied there, and I'm reading this. And the website I'm getting this from, by the way, is Simple Business. So go and have a look. I'll put the link to this in the article. But basically what landlords are a little bit concerned with, because it's constantly changing. 1 minute there's going to be no EPCs. Next minute there is going to be EPCs. 1 minute we're going to abolish Section 21. Next minute it's going to be like phased in a different way. So all these changes of legislation is one of the bigger challenges going forward, and people find it confusing, which it is very, very confusing. Let's go through these individually and talk about different impacts this potentially could have on the market as well. But look, at the moment, one of the things we've got to understand is there's been rising rate of costs, especially repairs have been going through the roof. The cost of repairs, mortgage rates have been going up. So landlords have been getting squeezed a little bit. But that said, rental income is also, rents have been flying up because there's been a lot more landlords exiting the market than there is coming into the market. A lot of landlords shifted their property over to Airbnb because it protected you against the Section 24 tax, which that is getting taken away as far as I understand. So there's a lot of changes that have been happening, which has put pressure on the rental market. They're doing these changes to help renters and help people, home buyers, but the reality is it's not really helping in a lot of areas because rents are going up, and it's making people's affordability to save for a deposit even harder because the rent prices are going up. So it's kind of in a bit of a mess for the government at the moment. But let's go through these individually. So first of all, they're talking about abolishing the Section 21 straight away. So look, I don't actually mind too much on this because I get rent insurance. So whether it goes for a Section 21 or Section 8, the difference between Section 21 and Section 8 is Section 8 is a fault eviction where you have to apply to the courts to get your property back, and it can be a long, lengthy process to get it back. Most landlords, in my experience, and decent landlords, which there is bad landlords, so a lot of this change I don't think is that terrible. It will flush out, hopefully, the remaining bad landlords. But a lot of landlords, and myself included, use Section 21 because it's just quicker to get your property back. Even if a tenant's in arrears, I'll just use Section 21, get my property back, and kind of easier, and then try and chase them from their arrears at a later date. Where Section 8 is so difficult, tenants can challenge it. They can say you didn't do a repair and it gets kicked out of court. And if they know how to play the system, it can really be a prolonged process. What the reform bill was suggesting that is anybody that is a repeat offender kind of thing, is that the right word? But anybody that repetitively gets in arrears, if you do it 3 times, you can just get them out within 2 weeks, which I like the sound of. The reality is, if you're less than 8 weeks in arrears, then you can't get mad. So you had these tenants that would just top it up by 1 week, get them 7 weeks in arrears and go to court, and you still couldn't get them out. And then they'll carry on being in arrears, and then it'll just be a whole cycle. So I feel if they get this right, which I think is going to be difficult for them to get it right, but I think it's going to be okay. But as I said, again, for myself personally, I get rent insurance, and I've bought rent insurance for like £20 a month per property. You don't have to worry about this. You get a solicitor that takes over this and deals with it, and you get paid your rent up until that person gets out of the property. You don't have to think about this. So that for me doesn't really worry me. Giving the tenants the power to challenge unreasonable rent rises, that doesn't worry me either. In fact, I've not raised hardly any of my rents, and we're going around raising them at the moment, even though they've significantly gone up. And I do look at the tenants' affordability. So I would only raise rent within line of what the tenants' affordability is, but also in line with what the profit margins are in that property. For example, I've got a property at the moment that that the tenant paid a lot cheaper than the market rate when she moved in about 2 years ago, because it had a few bits of wear and tear. Nothing like dangerous, nothing like mold, nothing that she couldn't live with. But I said, look, it's got a few bits of wear and tear. If you want to move in now, you can move in now and do the rent cheaper. And she said, yes. Then she's come back and consistently asked for all these bits to be done. So I said, okay, we're jumping the rent up to the market value now if you want everything on top, because it's a real squeeze what we're earning from this as it stands. And then if we have to do all the repairs, which is fine, I don't mind doing them, but we've got to reflect that in what the market's rate's at. And she's nearly £200 behind where the market rate is at. So I will look at people's affordability. I will look at the property and what it's at, and I will be fair with that anyway. So I don't think it's a bad one. Tenants can challenge that. Ban bidding wars between prospective tenants. So basically, we did have a property a little while ago. We put it on for 625. Somebody coming off at 675. There's a few people interested in that. How they implement that, I'm not sure, but yeah, if they stop that, they stop that. You just will factor that in. Like, I was happy to take 5 for it. Obviously, that's what I put it up for. But as a business owner, if somebody offers you more and they can afford that, then ultimately, like, it makes sense. I think it's either here or there. It happens so rarely in my experience. It does happen, but not that common. So you can just price that in and factor that in. So that's not something to worry about. This law, what I couldn't pronounce, AWAABS law, getting dangerous properties up to good standard. Again, I think that's just fair. We need to do that. The reintroduction of, so in last year, 2023, Labour said we're taking out, it's meant to be coming in at 2025 next year, and you have to get an EPC level to a C. They took that out because it's just so unrealistic to try and police that, monitor that. You get some EPC raters that give better ratings than others. And again, this feeds into the requirement to replace a gas boiler. If you had a gas boiler, you got a lower EPC, but you had electric boiler, you got a higher EPC rating, and it kind of was unbalanced. So how they're going to implement that, I don't know. If they're going to go over, I think a D is probably more realistic than a C, but who knows? But at the end of the day, look, I've been factoring that in. All the new properties that we've been buying, I've been factoring in getting these to a C in case Labour come in, because I predicted that they may reverse this. And also, I think it's just good practice to get your properties up to a good EPC rating anyway. So just when you buy them, make sure you factor it in. If you've got some old Victorian stock, it could be a bit of a sting for landlords, but the majority of my stock is ex-local authority, which is not hard to get up to the levels of requirements anyway. And to remove this boiler requirement for 2030, yeah, I think that's realistic. Like, that's just going to sting the life out of every landlord. Also, the EPCs didn't align with that. It's just too difficult to implement that, and no, it's not good for the tenants as well. It costs them more money on their rent. So yeah, I'm with that one. With the tax side of things, do I feel like the tax is staying the same? What you got to understand though is keeping the brackets at the same in tax is a hidden tax, because inflation's going up, so wages are going up and more people getting pushed into that higher bracket. Wage inflation is really at all-time high at the moment, and it pushes a lot more people into the higher rate of tax, which they then collect more tax. Stealth, like, it's just a stealth way of collecting more tax and making things sound good. So be careful with that if you're on the borderline with that. Corporation tax, where it's at, I think 25% is fairly fair anyway, to be fair. I'm in the 25% range because of the earnings we get now and the amount of businesses I've got. I had massive losses. I've done a video on my YouTube with that. I had massive losses from a lettings company, and I'm now, and I had some capital gains, capital allowances, which you can offset taxes. So now just treading back into the territory and starting to pay taxes again, which is a bit of a pain, but I don't mind tax as long as it's at a fair rate. I just don't think when you charge people 45 and 50% is fair. The rate of capital gains tax, I don't sell many properties, so for me it doesn't really impact me. Depends how much they raise it by, but I don't think that is too much of an impact. Again, if you want to flip properties as well, just flip them in a trading company. Set up a company to trade them and flip them in the trading company, and then you'll get corporation tax, not capital gains tax anyway. So you'll be slightly more beneficial doing that. So there is ways around this. I think the big one is that Section 21. We'll just have to see how that plays out. What they was planning to do with Section 21 was have a new system which supports landlords to get their properties back. If they implement the new system, and they said they was going to implement it, I'm not too worried. But overall, what are my views and what am I doing? Yes, I'm still operating in the market. Yes, we're massively deal sourcing still. Yes, we're training people how to deal source and then helping them with my list of investors to sell the deal. So if you're interested in joining my accelerator program, where we teach you how to find deals, we teach you how to then negotiate them deals with investors, and then I introduce you to an investor on my list. Comment the word partnership program in the comments, and we'll send you the details to apply for that and jump on a call with us. But yeah, we're still buying. We're still seeing there's an appetite from investors to buy. We put a deal on our list for one of our partners literally 2 days ago, and within hours we had 3 investors for him to jump on calls with. So we're still seeing an appetite on that side. There's more opportunity. The market's cooled a little bit. People are worried where they should sell. I believe that will continue onwards. But the Labour and the Conservative manifestos were so close. They're so aligned now. They're not so far right and left anymore. So I don't think it's going to be a major change. Like, there's not major changes in what's been going on. But I do feel because of the untrust that they had in Conservative with all the scandals in the party, I believe this will settle things for a while. And you've got to look at the big banks as well. Like, so Barclays come out with some drops in their rates just recently, and they obviously knew this election was coming up. The pound did dip a little bit, but I think the pound might strengthen. Now we've got certainty in where we're going. We've got a party in that's voted in without any scandals. I think we might have some short term, I don't know for certain, again, this is just my opinions, by the way. I think we might have some short term disruption, which I think is beneficial. If you go out and look for properties now, then you're going to get some good deals. But the rates, I don't know. Like, the inflation is where we want it, where the country wants it to be on paper. I think it's higher than they're predicting. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a major wobble within the markets at the moment, and I don't think what they're suggesting is going to majorly anything to worry about. But what you need to do as a property investor, as a business owner, because property is a business now, is just be your own governance. I don't care who's in power. I just look at what they're doing and I'll just realign myself to benefit me as to go forward. And if you do that all the time and have that mindset, and don't have the mindset of relying on the government and the handouts and the taxes, then you'll figure a way. And whenever there's change, there's always massive opportunity. And in this last year or so, we've just been getting much better deals as a result of the rates being higher and stuff like that. So my views is I'm pretty neutral on this. I didn't really care who got in with this, because their manifestos were so close to the property market. Do I think what they're suggesting is going to have a massive impact? I don't believe so, but I think it will have more of a sentimental impact than it will actually a financial one, which will create opportunity. And if you want to work with us on that opportunity, as I said, comment the word partnership in the comments, and I'll send you an application to work with us. We'll teach you how to find deals, we'll teach you how to negotiate them, we'll introduce you to the investors, and you get to keep the lion's share of that profit when we sell the deals. We just keep an amount to just cover our overheads in that side of it, because I enjoy coaching people. I want to earn my money from that, not from deal selling, but I realize a lot of people struggle to find investors to sell deals. So this gives you the momentum and gives you the income to then start putting your money into buying your own deals. So if you're interested in working with us, as I said, comment below. If you're still here at the moment, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. It really helps the channel if you can share it out. My why is to live on my terms. My mission is to help as many people live on their terms, using investment as a vehicle to do that. So please share it out. And remember, if you don't evolve your ideas, you'll never live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms, and have an amazing day.